Hi everyone, welcome to Ali Matu's Planet, and thank you to all the new subscribers out there. I plan to do a lot with the channel. Just stick with me, please be patient. A lot is going on right now. I have a plethora of different types of content that I will be providing here. And someone commented on a video I'll insert here, the not the clip, but basically I always call it the freeze frame, but you know what I'm talking about, of that video about me talking about colorism. That video was from a couple of years ago. I had planned on doing a whole shebang, like doing full makeup, having a nice setup to do a part two of this video. The part two is my family is colorist. As we all know, with COVID, there's a lot of enlightenment going on, a lot of realizations going on, a lot of releasing, healing going on. And I have definitely been processing the way that I've been treated, not only in life, but by this particular part of my family. And I realized that indeed, colorism is alive and well. I gave a brief history on my last channel, and I will definitely say it's kind of been difficult navigating the space as a first generation American of West African descent, Senegambian and Liberian. Also, the fact that I don't speak any of my indigenous or tribal languages. Also, the fact that I am Fulani, but a dark-skinned Fulani, which a lot of colorism, featureism, and texturism is in that community. I have a Jola background, so although Fulani people do come in a plethora of colors, what is marketed to the public is the lighter skinned ones. Yeah, dealing with featureism too, the fact that I have bigger features, and the Fulani people are known for that, but they have the privilege of being lighter skinned, a lot of them. So I don't have that privilege, so being a darker skinned woman with bigger features, and just a plethora, a combination of different things from my ancestors. And I am just now, like, of today, realizing how ungrateful I am. And I really need to be grateful and thankful to those ancestors for not only bringing me here, the ones that support me and are there for me and have been since the time I came into this world, but also appreciating what they give me, my features, my hair, my skin, my eyes, my skin color, especially. And I would suggest that you do the same. Now, moving on to the colorism, I've been just thinking about it because on that side of the family, it's this one light that's been put on a particular person that it was mixed race. She's no longer here. And she had a son. Well, she had many sons, but one of them looked more like her, and we actually had a really great relationship. But he ended up having a daughter who looks like his mom. So this person they're all light skinned. And I've been processing the different ways that I've been treated by different people on that side of the family, from most recently his daughter, who grew up in I'll just be frank, the person grew up in Ghana. Ghana is an extremely colorist country. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to speak my truth. It is true. You can Google the Ghanaian actors and you'll see for myself. Ghana is a country in West Africa, and I'll probably put a picture somewhere up here if you need to know where that is. And it was colonized by the British, who are white European people. The Ghanaian people, majority of them are very dark skinned. They're also bigger people. That's their beauty standard, to be bigger. And they usually have wider, flatter features. And because of colonization, they put lighter skinned mixed race people on a pedestal. You can look at their top entertainers. Me going there, I had a horrible experience. But because I have an open mind, that will not stop me from going there again and visiting one day. I just will not be living there. Being that I am a darker skinned woman, but I'm not super big. I'm a overall slimmer, average sized woman because of my ancestry being primarily within the former Malian Empire. A lot of those people are slimmer people. I have a mix of that. And then on my mom's side, There is my maternal grandmother has origins in Cameroon, that tribe, and they're called the Bassa people in Liberia, but they're called Bassa in Cameroon. So there's some curvature there, but yeah, overall I'm slimmer compared to Ghanaian women. And overall, too, even compared to some Liberian women, because there's some very curvy Liberian women too. Um, but the person, because they were put on a pedestal, and I know this because I've been to Ghana, I was denied. I had to actually pay regular price or extra to get into a club. I feel like I talked about this before in another video. Maybe it was a colorism one, I don't know. Whereas the lighter skinned people got discounted prices, they would give the light skinned women free drinks. They would run up and touch lighter skinned people's skin. Like it was actually pretty sad and pathetic. But because I knew the environment, I already knew. So this person has been privileged too much, so much, really too much. It's funny that came out that they believe that our side of the family, the Liberian side, which is where their father is from, doesn't like them because we don't cater to them and give them special attention. So imagine being raised and getting attention off of your looks and special treatment by another part of your family where you live, that you believe people don't like you because they're not doing that for you. That means that your self-esteem was built off of other people's basically colorism and anti-blackness and self-hate. And if your self-esteem has to be built off other people not feeling good about themselves, you have a serious problem in my eyes. On that side of the family, I've been made fun of by the black men, talking about my nose. I have my Fulani nose here, something I'm still accepting because Fulani people are known to have long pointy noses. This is our trademark, and the cheekbones. I'm still learning to accept that. I would be made fun of my dark skin primarily, over the anti-blackness of this side because they all wanted to be more mixed looking like their mother, who was mixed race. So I've grown up hearing and being treated negatively by the black men in my family. So I kind of expected that. And the one person who looked the most, you can say mixed, he really didn't play too much into it, but like I said, that side of my family is Liberian, so I won't say colorism doesn't exist, but the history is completely different, being that it was recolonized or colonized by former enslaved Africans, okay, from the diaspora, especially America and the Caribbean. So if this person would have been raised in another African country, I'm sure they might have taken it more serious. And I definitely think that there was some anti-blackness in them, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been because of the country that they were born and raised in. And I do feel like that person's siblings were also jealous of them because he had the look that they wanted. But I've just really grown to understand myself, how I feel, and why I viewed myself in certain ways, because the men in my family or in part of my family who were supposed to be protecting me in a way were actually tearing me down, mainly because of my dark skin and my bigger features. So yes, colorism does exist in my family. I just at the time didn't process it that way because I was just used to being treated a certain way. A lot of this has come into play because the person that I mentioned, the main one that looked mixed, actually was my first cousin. Rest in peace to you, Chandler. I love you forever and ever. And I think in a way he taught me how I should be treated in the family, by the men and in general. So it kind of made me evaluate how my relationship was with other men in the family, and how the family does exhibit colorism. Luckily, I grew up primarily with my mother. I thank God she didn't look at me through that lens. But being a dark-skinned woman, who identifies with being African, being a dark-skinned Fulani woman, has definitely been interesting, both traveling to the African continent and living in America. It always seems to be triggering somebody. There's always some type of strong response to how I look. It's either admiration or being lustful to me, or it is basically like a hate, a low key hate, jealousy, envy. So I just wanted to do a quick part two. It's not a professional, but just stating, what I've examined in my family now as of today. We're in March 2023 about colorism and how it manifests, and how people who don't live your life as a darker skinned person, they tend to brush it off and make excuses, like in my situation where I said there was my cousin's daughter, where I was being told, oh, the country was colonized. That's no excuse. Like, so people who don't live this life and don't live in this skin always make excuses, especially black people. They don't want to talk about colorism, but they'll be quick to talk about racism. And colorism is the little sister of racism. So I hope this is making people think. And yes, colorism exists in Africa too. It was colonized. There's a huge misconception in the diaspora, especially in America where I was born and raised, that colonization was a fun process. If it's a fun process, why am I speaking English? I'm not British. I have no British ancestry. So my language was affected. My ancestors were affected, to a case where a lot of people are brainwashed and they have indoctrinated self-hate against themselves as Africans, and against their indigenous ways or ways that naturally come to us. And it's not only being African, it's a lot of people of color, okay? And a lot of Africans have been looked down globally. And I mean, things are changing, but it's really wild being that we really started everything. So that's another thing to process. But yeah, there's ways that we have to relearn for Africans on the continent and erasing the indoctrinated self-hate that was instilled in them because of colonization. And yes, there were times that it was actually brutal. There's a lot of things in history that can be researched. So I feel like I've touched on the bulk of what I wanted to update. This is not a super long video, but as a black person or person of color, how does colorism manifest for you on a daily basis or within your family? Feel free to like, share, comment, and let's keep this discussion going, because we're not going to hide, especially as darker skinned people, to make other people comfortable. And I know I'm no longer hiding. I'm going to put myself out there and speak my truth. I'm not going to make you comfortable because colorism benefits you. It doesn't benefit me. And even if it did, I would be advocating for the people that it doesn't benefit, or featureism. Okay? And I've acknowledged before that I have a privilege in featureism, as I've been told, and in texturism. I acknowledge that, and I advocate for people with wider features and people with kinkier hair, as I should in my privilege. But I have the one thing that a lot of black people don't want, which is dark skin, and I'm also a woman. So I have a lot to share and a lot of stories to tell. So comment down below. What do you think? What resonates with you? What stories do you have to share? Talk to you soon, and thank you for your likes, shares, and subscribes. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.